Today on NTV, we'll sit down with Mr. Span to discuss the recent crackdown on rule breaking.
We'll shine a spotlight on the lone senior on the girls' varsity track team.
And we'll take a look at North's Technical Theater Department.
All this and more, right here on NTV.
Hi, I'm Baxter Pitt.
And I'm Taylor Billiot.
The recent enforcement of rules in terms of food and drink, cell phone use, and dress code have been met with strong reactions from the student body. We aim to bridge the gap between students and administration by getting to the bottom of what's really behind these decisions.
The recent adjustments to rule enforcement have taken effect, and the student body has raised its concerns, largely on social media, as to the impact of these changes. However, the students are often missing one key piece of information: the reasoning behind these decisions.
As I started talking with a group of teachers, we all felt like we'd kind of lost our edge, and that we were allowing things we hadn't allowed in the past. And that in itself is where that kind of kicked everything in gears, just conversation and just casual observation that, you know, we didn't have our swagger.
Mr. Span understands the students' objections and empathizes with their concerns, but at the same time hopes they see where the administration is coming from.
Change is hard, especially when we've allowed things and all of a sudden today we're pulling back. I can expect some kickback from that. I understand that. I mean, I've been a kid before, and today, you know, as of today, when my boss tells me something that I've been allowed to do and all of a sudden we're not doing that anymore, I'm gonna, whoa, well, why? But I do want our students to understand that we still care about you. We still have a great school, even though we said we're not going to take food and drink out of the cafeteria. It doesn't change who we are.
These alterations may seem to some a means to an end, but they are simply the tip of the iceberg of a wave of new ideas aimed at improving our school.
We're going to roll out some things to you is to really, for us to embrace what we believe in, and, you know, to have a strong belief statement that really, when I ask you as a student, what's a belief statement? Who are we as McKinney North High School that our students can say, boom, this is our belief statement, this is who we are.
In the coming weeks, we will cover the new slogan and program in a special feature, so stay tuned for more on how these new initiatives will affect you. This has been Baxter Pitt for NTV.
Last week, we wrapped on Jekyll and Hyde. But what you may not have noticed is that the show featured a number of technical elements, unlike anything North has done in the past. To explore the work that went into these pieces, here's Danielle Holland.
This past weekend, the McKinney North High School Theater Department put on their own production of Jekyll and Hyde, the musical, with a steampunk twist. In a nutshell, Jekyll is a story of a man who is corrupted by his work, despite his good intentions. In attempting to isolate the evil in mankind, he accidentally brings out the evil in himself. One of the defining characteristics of the show is its incredibly intensive tech and homemade costumes. To get a closer look at the behind-the-scenes action, we spoke to the directors themselves.
This show is a very tech-heavy show. Everything that we've got going on with sets, we have set pieces that move in and out all throughout the entire show. Our lighting designs have been very intense. We're using all sorts of different lighting instruments.
There's certainly a lot of moving parts to this production. The decision to go big or go home in regards to tech is certainly understandable. It is a musical after all. But what about the decision to go steampunk? Steampunk is essentially the melding of Victorian fashion, top hats and all, with industry and machinery. So why did they decide to make Jekyll steampunk? And, more importantly, why did they have the cast members make their own costumes?
Because it's dealing with science, and he is a scientist, and we're dealing with a little bit of pushing the limits of what science can do. It's been done a little bit before, and it's kind of a new thing to do, a new trend in design too.
By creating their own costumes and their own look, they really got to explore their characters in a deeper way.
Well, Personalization can never be a bad thing in a musical. Let's take a look at what the actors thought about making their own costumes.
It's a lengthy process, but a large portion of it is actually just going out and finding the materials to use and what will work well, and really trying not to overdo anything. It's actually a very fine balance.
A fine balance indeed, but one that this actor looks like he walked perfectly. So, what all is involved in the making of your own costume?
There's a lot of riveting involved, leather work. We actually had to rivet this entire gauntlet closed, and we had to rivet the metal plates to it.
Sounds like quite a bit of expertise was needed. Just one question remains now. How did the costumes work out?
Had my varsity class or one person or 2 or 3 people made all these costumes, we would never have gotten all the personality and ideas that these guys came up with.
We've gotten to see a lot of the creativity that our students have show up within the look of the characters they've created for themselves on stage.
They all sound extremely positive about the costumes and the show in general, but we'll let public opinion be the judge. What did you think of Jekyll and Hyde? This has been Daniel Coleman for NTV.
North's track team has earned a reputation as one of the strongest athletic programs at North. One member of this program is senior Danielle Coleman. This year, she finds herself in the unique position of being the only senior on the girls' varsity track team. Let's find out how Danielle will help lead this year's track team to the finish line.
McKinney North senior Danielle Coleman has succeeded in track by being a 4-year varsity member as well as the only varsity senior. But even more than that, she is a leader.
I just basically this year knew that I had to step up with just being able to express what the coach wants to my teammates in a more like me to you way instead of coach to team way. And I feel like the girls look up to me because I'm not the type of leader to just be like my way or the highway. I just kind of like, you know, be their friend at the same time, be that person that they can like lean on and encourage at practice.
There are certain good things and bad things to being the only senior on the team though.
The pro is when we pick equipment, I go first. Everything's like behind the senior, but the con is also like, you know, you want someone to relate to, like another teammate that's a senior, and sometimes like on varsity you just don't really get that with them being so young. They don't really understand because I've already been through all that.
After this last season, Danielle has big plans.
Why I chose Oklahoma State was for numerous reasons. I mean, like, it's a great school. It's a Big 12 school, Division I. They're in a conference with Baylor, teams like Texas, TCU, West Virginia, Iowa. It's a really competitive conference, and with me being such like a competitive person, I felt like that was the best place for me.
But before everything was set, Danielle still remembers her first offer.
He was like, Danielle, we would love to have you here. I'm offering you. I was like, what? Like, seriously? Like, Baylor University? Like, that was a great time for me. Like, I was so excited. But also, I knew, like, I couldn't, like, jump on that too quick because I need to look at my options.
So what exactly is it that Danielle does in track?
I can do mostly anything. That's what made me so, like, available to most schools and like those Big 12 schools, because they were like, wow, I can push you up to the 8 or I could push you down to the 2 wherever I need you. So I think that's what makes me special about track.
Throughout her track career, she has racked up many awards starting from when she was very young.
When I was 10, there's a state meet called TAAF state meet, and it's for everyone in Texas for amateurs. And I won the 800 meter with the first gold medal that club track had ever gotten, and it was from the little 10-year-old Danielle. So from then on, I was like, I really like this.
With this being Danielle's last season, she plans to hit hard and maybe even get a little revenge.
I just feel like my senior year, I'm gonna go extremely hard, give it all I have. You know, like my goal is to get back to the state meet and score points and help my team win another district title. I mean, last year we lost by 2 points to Lovejoy. I'm still hurting about that, so this year we're gonna like shatter. I wanna like blow out people at district.
If you want to see more of Danielle, attend the John Drummond Relays track meet next Friday at UTA Maverick Stadium. This has been Taylor Billiot and Jayla Johnson for NTV.
Tomorrow marks the beginning of spring break. 9 full days off and endless possibilities. So Bulldogs, we gotta know, where would you go on your dream spring break vacation?
My dream spring vacation is to catch up on all the sleep I've lost this year.
Anything that doesn't relate to work.
Probably to go to Australia.
My dream vacation would be just staying home from school and sleeping.
My perfect spring vacation would probably be Jamaica or some other foreign island.
To go to Amsterdam.
My dream spring break is to not go home, just to stay out all night.
But for real, my spring break would just be something cool. Probably eat a lot of good food, maybe go to Chicago for like a few days. Just kind of skip around places that look real nice to me.
My dream spring break would probably be a week full of just playing Xbox and doing nothing, with like one workout where I do like a set of like 2 on squat just so I feel super strong.
I just love McKinney North and all my students so much. I wish there wasn't a spring break. But since there is, I would like to hang out with Joel Griffin.
My dream spring break would be sleeping for an entire week and then waking up when it's done and feeling really well rested.
Sit in a field of flowers because I love flowers.
My dream of spring break would be to go home that Friday and not wake up until I have to go back to school on Monday.
My dream spring break would be just not doing anything.
Going to St. Martin.
My dream for spring break? Well, first we have to define dream. And there's a fine book out there by Sigmund Freud. You'll learn about it in Mr. Solano's class, in psychology class. It's called The Interpretation of Dreams. My dream spring break, what does it say about me? Well, you know, my dream spring break might be to commit the perfect crime. But I wouldn't admit that on TV. So, yeah.
That's our show.
For more news, follow us on Twitter at MNHSNTV.
Thanks for watching.
And have a great weekend, Bulldogs.
North's technical... I'm
gonna redo that. I kind of messed up on the way.
3, 2...
Oh, darn, I just went blank. I got it. Hold on. Okay.